I could hear the ping-pang sound of light feet bouncing off the corrugated metal of our neighbor's roof. It must have been Wowie or his older brother going after the cocoa fruit high up in the tree planted in our yard. I quietly stepped out of our kubo to try and catch the little thief in the act. From the other side of our 6-foot-high bamboo fence, I could hear their mother speaking gurgling nonsense to her newborn, her 6th kid, as the 2 other young ones sat near her feet in the dirt. Her oldest daughter was 12 years old and already had dropped out of school. I looked up and saw the older brother sitting squat style at the edge of our neighbor's roof, juice from the fruit dripping down his face. My wife had gone to school with the father, Ramel, for a few years anyway. He dropped out after the 4th grade. He was a handsome boy, my wife said. He was really a sweet kid before. Now he was just another small-time thug shabu dealer on an insignificant island where one would assume nothing eventful could ever happen. For me, the year I spent on my wife's home island was more than eventful. That year I learned that breeding is the entertainment of the poor. Creating unwanted problems eliminates boredom. I came to understand that the value of human life is not so great to those that have nothing to lose, that Filipino pride can turn violent very quickly, and that extreme ignorance cannot be reasoned with. I sometimes wonder if all the events of that year on the island would reveal some kind of connection. The early morning bandits who strung a rope across the road, catching the neck of an unsuspecting driver headed to the pier. The farmer who came to town one day to visit the local talking bar, only to be ignored by the bar girl who drank all of his beers and felt to settle things he should punch her in the face as hard as he could. The Copra boat murders that never got solved by an incompetent police force of 4 officers. The 3-year-old boy who fell off a fallen tree that died a few days later, whose older brother was too afraid to tell his parents what had happened. Or the time someone got stabbed with a big kitchen knife for singing Frank Sinatra's My Way. It's not your way, it's my way. Maybe the connection is that all of these events are so tragically screwed up. I could only remember the name Wowie, so I couldn't call up to his brother by name. I told him to get off the roof. He just looked at me with indifference, a look that I became very familiar with living amongst this class of people. His mother, just on the other side of the fence, was useless. Her brain already turned to sisig from using too much methamphetamines. It was her father and uncle who were the king dealers on the island. Even though the uncle had been taken away by an NPA vigilante gang a few years before, never to be seen again, it didn't stop business as usual. Life was nothing to lose. A few weeks before, a hand-pushed cart with an intercom wove in and out of our town's dirt roads. The governor was coming, campaigning, and we'd better clean up our act. The beach would have been impossible to clean up in time considering the mountain of shitty diapers and sari-sari candy wrappers that littered everywhere. What they thought was doable, though, was for dog owners to tie up their dogs for the time being. The intercom blared that message a few times leading up to the governor's arrival really loud, as if they meant it. Now, in my house, I had this rug. It had traveled from afar and was purchased in another country and then made it to my home on the island. It was a big Lubowski kind of rug that really tied the room together. It had some sentimental value to me, reminding me to not forget there's a larger world out there beyond the Philippines. Coming home, I walked past Ramel's wife and 3 of his 6 kids. She was mindlessly singing the chorus of a song that was long out of date, but still popular with Filipinos. She looked right through me without any curiosity. I saw that my gate was open and wondered who I would find inside. I walked through the gate and saw my door only opened halfway. I peered inside just in time to see one of Ramel's dogs peeing on my rug. Chasing the mud out, I was furious. I yelled at Ramel's wife to tie up their dogs. She went into a drug-addled panic and called out for Ramel, who was nowhere around. Her voice kept getting louder and louder, like an emergency vehicle headed my way. I shook it off and went inside my house. A few minutes later, Ramel was out front with a sharpened bolo, pacing back and forth, calling me out in Tagalog. "Your dog pissed on my rug, man. Tie up your dogs," I responded. I assumed this would be a fair request. I didn't know where my wife was up until this point, but suddenly she was by my side, translating. "He wants to kill you." "What? Why?" "I don't know. I can't understand. Can you fight?" "What? I'm supposed to fight? I'm supposed to machete fight this guy now?" My wife called the police. All 4 of them showed up, even though they were coming from the town square 100 meters away. They decided to drive the SUV. They all stayed comfortably in the vehicle while the chief talked to us. "His dog pissed on my rug. What else is there to talk about?" I asked sincerely. Ramel tried to give his dog to the police. He was smiling and his machete was now hidden out of sight. It was then that my wife told me how Ramel used to be a handsome and sweet boy. "Well, he's not anymore," I said. The sun was going down, and because of another brownout, we were all falling into the darkness of night. Nothing else happened that day or even later on between Ramel and I. His kids kept stealing the fruit from our trees, and his wife kept singing out of key in front of our fence. The other events happened before and after this episode, but I think about this moment the most. It's both sad and funny. We moved off that island after a year, and there has been some time and distance to reflect on everything that happened while we were there. Ramel and his family lived in a shack made of scrap metal, bamboo, and cardboard on land he was squatting on. He had no education, no money, and nothing to lose but his pride. And he was ready to kill me for that.